Sydney Sweeney y Glen Powell protagonizan la comedia romántica del verano Con Todos Menos Contigo. Hablé con su director de fotografía sobre varias historias vinculadas al rodaje. Por supuesto conversamos de la química entre ellos dos, pero también de esa famosa anécdota que incluye a una araña. Todo en este completísimo informe de la película Con Todos Menos Contigo.
We now return to Mira Akian and Contre with our latest interview.
Sydney Sweeney is a very kind of happy, bubbly person anyway, and Glen Powell, he's such a sweet guy, and you just want to kind of hang out with them. So to be on set with them, they were laughing, they were having a good time. It was a real joy. It was a very fun experience.
Hey, headed to the wedding?
Of my sister? Yes, I am.
So where's your fiance? Wait, is this him? Hey, I'm Ben. I was her hall pass on your break.
Wow, you are a child.
They certainly had a lot of chemistry on set. I mean, without a doubt, they really enjoyed being together. They enjoyed each other's company. You know, I think they are both very, very good actors. I don't know for sure, but I don't think there was any sort of romantic connection there between the two of them. But they really enjoyed spending time with each other on set, and then even, you know, on weekends. They and a bunch of other actors would get together and they would do things in Sydney here. So on set, it was, you know, this was a very fun movie.
How's it going, stranger?
What's going on over there?
They dated, she crushed his heart.
That man does not have a heart. No way.
My inspiration came from the script. And there were some very specific photographic references that we didn't want to replicate. I mean, some of the rom-coms in the past have been filmed in a particular sort of way. Often rom-coms look very bright and a little bit artificial. And we didn't want to do that. You know, we wanted to keep it as real as possible. At the same time, you know, the actors, it is a comedy and it is a romantic comedy. So the actors needed to look like movie stars and they needed to look beautiful, which was very easy to do. But we also wanted to keep it kind of real and believable. And that was a big factor for us, to stay away from the artificial kind of rom-com look that has occurred in the past, and to kind of embrace the reality of the situation. You know, the fact that these characters could come together, the realism of being, you know, in Australia at this time of the year. You know, we just wanted to make it feel as real as possible.
Titanic me.
Are they watching?
Are they doing Titanic?
They're gone. Show's over.
Oh my God.
So that's the start of a much bigger moment when she eventually falls into the water, and then they didn't want to give too much away in the trailer, but it becomes a very big kind of moment in the film, and almost like potentially like a turning point in the film. To shoot that scene, you know, we spent, it was tricky, you know, like these big super yachts, they look huge, but then when you get a film crew on board with lots of cameras and makeup and hair people, all of a sudden it feels like a very small boat. You know, we had a camera crane on the front, and we had Steadicam, we had a lot of lighting. It was tricky, you know, like if you see the frame of them doing the Titanic moment, just outside of the image, there's like people everywhere, there's equipment everywhere. It was just like jam-packed full of equipment and people. That being said, you know, to film that scene in such an iconic part of Sydney outside the Opera House, you know, it was just, at the time, it kind of felt magical to me, you know, because, you know, I spent my whole life, you know, looking at the Opera House, and, you know, to shoot a movie like this in front of the Opera House actually becomes quite an important part of the story. So yeah, that scene is fun. You know, it was fun to shoot. It was difficult to shoot. It's always hard to shoot on the water. And lighting is always difficult as well, because, you know, there's no space for anything. There's no space for cameras or lighting. But I think we got away with it, and I think it works really well.
Do you have a mole or something on your butt?
No?
Walk me through that scene, because that's in the trailer. It's scary. Like, I thought that was CGI, and then I learned that it's real spider, so it's more scary. So like, tell me about shooting that, and I don't know if you like can tell me about that little accident that Sydney had with the spider.
What happens when we shoot a scene like this, you know, initially in a wide shot, we would see maybe a fake spider, or a toy spider or something like that, you know, or a CGI spider, whatever. But at a certain point, we decided that, you know, we needed a close-up and it needed to feel real.
Yeah.
So we had a big huntsman spider, which huntsman spiders are scary looking. They're big, but they're not necessarily venomous. But Sydney Sweeney was holding the spider, and then we sort of picked up the scene from that point, and then with a close-up could see her hand, see the real spider in her hand, and she was acting and moving her hand around, and you know that intercuts with the wide shot. But what happened was we were doing the scene, and her performance was kind of elevated. It was like, wow, this is like a big step up in her performance. And then finally, it took a moment for Glen, I think, initially to realize that she wasn't acting anymore. You know, she was actually reacting to the spider that was biting her. Got you. And so we all stopped, and you know, we had a medic on set, and the medic came over and checked, and she had like puncture wounds in her hand, or her wrist. But you know, this is crazy. You know, she kind of just went, okay, you know, like, and they made sure she was okay and fine, and then we did it again. You know, like, we got the spider out, and she filmed it again, and she was very, very brave not to be freaked out by this. It did hurt her, and initially we thought it was acting because, you know, she's a good actor. And she was, you know, we'd filmed it a few times in a wide shot, and she was going through the process and acting. But then in the close-up, like I said, it was just elevated.
Did any of those like takes made it to the final cut of the movie? Like the ones from the accident?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
She sees her with me. She wants what she can't have.
There's no way we can convince anyone we actually like each other.
well, I think it's definitely a film that you want to watch in the cinema. You know, the cinema, anyone who loves movies can appreciate the beauty of sitting in a dark room with lots of people and experiencing the film together with like-minded people. And this film, I think, in the cinema is, you know, fantastic because it's a shared experience. You know, it's a fun movie, and I think, I'm pretty sure at the end of the film, when people leave the cinema, they'll be smiling, they'll be singing a particular song. There's a very, very interesting. It's a great song that appears throughout the film, and then at the end as well. I think that people will walk away with that in their mind. It's a shared experience. I think it will just amplify, you know, the film and the fun nature of the film.
Bad idea, right?
What did we miss?
What did we miss?